Hi guys, welcome back. This is Trader Stewie again here. Today I just want to do another video. This time it's gonna be like a very basic video. I promised people very early on that when I first started doing videos, I was gonna do a video about how to do charting 101, like the basics of charting, like how to spot a chart, a good chart, how to spot a tradable chart, how to spot a chart that has a decent pattern in it that maybe a trade can be made, can be pulled out of it. So, let's just take a look at the chart here, and I'll try to be as basic as possible and keep it as simple as possible, straight to the point, and see if maybe we can help solve, maybe answer a few questions that I've been getting over the last few months about charting 101. Okay, so here we go, guys. So we're looking at this chart of Wynn. This is a Wynn Resorts. It's a casino stock. Symbol is WYNN. And as you can see, here the stock here, I use stockcharts.com, and I pay for the premium service, but you do not need to do it. You can just do all your work, on a delay time frame if you choose to. I prefer to have it in real time because I just feel like it helps me personally during my trading, in real time. But anyway, as you can see here, Win. Um, the first thing I look at when I look at a chart, the very first thing that catches my eyes is I want to ask myself, is the stock in an uptrend or in a downtrend? That's the first thing I ask myself. So when I look at this chart right here, the first thing you can see is this stock is clearly in an uptrend. So as you can see here, we're going from March 2010 up to January 2011. So we're looking at about a 1 year chart here. So as you can see, from March to March 2010, you can see the stock has gone from about $60 a share all the way up to about $115. So it pretty much doubled in about 1 year. But more important than that, I want to see if the stock is in an uptrend or in a downtrend. And for me right now, it's very clear that the stock has been in a steady uptrend, as you can see here. So, the first thing you want to ask yourself in an uptrend, what defines an uptrend? An uptrend is defined by a series of higher highs and higher lows. Now, what does that mean? So higher highs means like where the pivots become higher, and then the higher lows where the lower pivots become higher. So you have higher lows and higher highs. So as you can see, as the stocks keep climbing, you have the pivots on the higher highs become higher, and the pivots on the higher lows become higher as well too. You see that? So as the stock climbs, you have higher lows. So here you have a higher low, another higher low, another higher low here, another higher low over here, and looks like there's one in the making right around right here. And then the higher highs obviously are around right here, 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 around this area right here, here, here. So you can see how the stock is in a steady uptrend of higher highs and higher lows. So right away that tells you now what the first thing that comes to my mind when I see a stock in an uptrend is I do not want to short the stock. I want to try to be long the stock and preferably on pullbacks. For example, you want to wait till the stock starts to pull back, and right when you think the pullback is done or the pullback is almost done, or maybe you have a higher low in the making, maybe then you can start to get into some long positions and enjoy the stock as it starts to rise again. Okay, so this for me is the basics of what I look at in a chart. This is exactly what I'm trying to figure out right now. So now, with stockcharts.com, it allows you to annotate the charts. So here, this is exactly what I'm trying to do right now. Okay, so here you go. So the first thing I want to see, I'm looking at when I see a chart like this, is I want to look at the price and the volume. Okay, so volume is down here, obviously, price. So now what I want to do is I want to start to connect some trend lines and see what I can get out of this chart. Where are the support lines and where are the resistance lines? So as you can tell here from this chart, the first thing I see here is a support line that comes in around right here. This to me is very, very clear. Okay, so this to me right here is a clear support line right here, around that 67, that 66, 65 area right here. Then next thing I want to look at is the next resistance. So next resistance will come in like around right here, because I'm trying to connect the highs where I see lots of highs. The more highs you see, the more pivots on the highs you see, the more valid that point will be. So for example, look at that. Look at that here. You have one pivot right here, two pivots, three. Here it's almost one, but you can see here. So let's say three, one, two, three. Four. Let's say four and a half. So let's say here, it looks like you have a strong resistance here around that 88, 89 area. So you see this area right here right away in your mind, because it failed so many times. Every time it touched that 88, 89 area, 86, 87 area, the high 80s area, every time it touched it, it failed. You see that it touched it and failed. You see that it rallied up here and failed, rallied up here and failed, tried it again and failed, tried it again and failed. So that tells you right away that this number right here, this area right here, is very, very important. So a break of this number, a break higher of this number, especially on big volume, as you can see down here, huge volume. Look at that. Over 8 million shares for the stock once they cleared that area. So that tells you right away that whatever move on a huge volume that clears this area right here is going to be a very, very important move, because this move will likely direct the next move, whatever the next move is. That's where the direction is likely gonna be. So as you can see here, it broke out on huge volume higher above this major resistance area, and look at that, the stock continued to run. Look at that. I mean, it literally gave almost no pullback and kept running, 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 running. That's just tell you how important that area was. And same thing here, the support line here. This was a very, very important support line, for anybody who likes to buy pullbacks. So the first thing you see is you have here the flash crash, where the stock just tanked completely and sank through here, and then bounced back and held this around the 65, 70 area. So then the stock rallied and then dropped back down to the 67 area, held, rallied, came back to the 67, 68 area and held, came back, same thing here, 67. So now you know that 67 is a very, very key number here too. So 67, 66. So if the stock happened to just, maybe let's say it rallied one more time here and then dropped back down and then broke through support on huge volume this time, then you know that the likely next direction, or the next long direction, or the next, direction that's likely to stick, is going to be lower. But the stock never dropped below that. It never dropped. It just kept rising and kept holding. And every time it kept holding, it created a higher low. So for example, right here, you have another higher low right here. Look at that. So the stock, it failed here, tested support, rallied. So now look at that here. You have a higher low right here. So the stock rallied, came back lower, had another higher low right here. Like this is a mini one, a small one right here. What you want to see is you want to see a cluster. You want to see a cluster of attempts where support is trying to break and it fails. So look at that. See how it tried numerous times to break support and it failed. So that to me right away signals that this is and it failed. So now it went back higher again. This to me right away tells me this is a higher low. So we have a higher low right here where the stock tried numerous times to break support and it failed, rallied, touched resistance here, came back down, and here it tried numerous times to break support and it failed, and it rallied again. And look at that, touched resistance, came back down, and look at that now here, guys. Look at that. It tried numerous times to break through that 79.50 area. It tried numerous times. It tries once, twice, three, four, five, six, seven, 8 times, and it failed. And it broke out higher. So that tells you we have another higher low right here. So technically, you can go long. You can go long about right here. This should be a long signal right here for you swing traders. This should be a long signal to get long right on this candle right here. After these numerous failed attempts to break down, the stock rallied and then broke above this short-term range right here. So now the stock rallies, and this time it broke resistance for good. Look at that. cleared resistance, huge volume right here. Look at that, huge volume right here, cleared resistance area right here, and the stock took off. So now what are we looking for? Now that the stock took off, it kept rallying, 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 and now the stock, it never really allowed you the time to get back in until right around where I tested the 20-day moving average, which is around right here. So look at that. So now you have a kind of a higher low in the making right here. It's not quite. It was very very choppy because as you can see, what happened next in the next couple months, the stock started moving sideways. See that? See, a lot of people think like when a stock rallies, like a big amount, they think that the stock has to automatically like collapse or it has to automatically fall back. You know, it can pull back. It can look at it. It went to 108, 109, and it pulled back to 97, 98. So that you see, I mean, it pulled back in a very, very like orderly fashion. It wasn't like a very. There was look at that. Look at the volume down here. There was very, very low volume on the pullback. So I mean, that should tell you right away that this pullback is bullish. So I should be looking to buy this pullback. But as you can see here, the stock, it kept chopping around, kept moving sideways, and I'm sure a lot of people got frustrated waiting for this thing to break out. I know I was watching it, and I got frustrated watching it. As you can see here, it moved ups and downs, sideways. It went nowhere for a long time. Look at that. Just kept chopping sideways right here. So every time we thought it broke out, it failed. Every time we thought it failed, it broke back. It broke back higher again, and you can see that. So it went back and forth. Then finally, in in January 2000, 2011, right when the year started, it broke out and it broke out for good this time. And look at that, it cleared that 107 area, which was resistance for a while, as you can see here by this resistance line right here. You see when you connect this high, and this high, and this high, you can see a break here of that 108, 107 area, and you can see it quickly went from 107, 108, all the way to like 122, which was where we are right now, right here. So again, it's pulling back. As you can see here, it's pulling back. So I would say allow the stock to pull back, and I think it will set up yet another buying opportunity. Because so far, as you can see, the pullback is on low volume. You see how it breaks out on high volume right here, and it pulls back on very, very low volume. So high volume breakouts, low volume selling. So it just tells you that the stock is only taking a breather until more buyers come in, create yet another higher low, so the stock can take off yet again. Okay, guys, I hope this helped. This is just the first lesson. I promise I'll do many, many more because it's hard to explain this all in one video. But I promise I will do many more videos to explain all this stuff to you guys. Okay, hopefully this